We're so glad you could all join us today. We've got a great session planned and an incredible group of speakers here to share their insight. Let me start by introducing them. We first have Kevin McTeague, Solutions Engineer Manager here at Restaurant365. He's joined by Andrew Laufer, Managing Partner at Laufer LLP, and Brian Dempsey, Director at Laufer LLP. So I know we're all here to hear from them, so let's get right to it. Kevin, Andrew, Brian, thank you for being here. Take it away, Andrew.
Thank you, Natasha. Really appreciate your time getting us all introduced here. So what are we going to cover today? We're going to cover why Laufer and Restaurant365, our collaborative and unique approach, best practices, integrating McDonald's tools, automating labor accruals, linking banking activity, creating budgets, and custom reporting. While there's so much more that we really could talk about, trust me that we will in the future in some highly concentrated webcasts. But today, we're going to stay at a high level, and we're staying at a high level with intent. The reason being is we have a lot of people tuning in today who are in different roles and stages, some with accounting background, some with no accounting background, looking for back office solutions. Some are just exploring options. Some are already utilizing my firm and Restaurant365, and some of you are probably already expert users. What's important to know here is that there are options available to you and capabilities that we at Laufer and Restaurant365 can provide to you. If after this webinar, you want to know exactly how to do something, we encourage you to give us a call, reach out, whether it be budgeting, custom reporting. We'll be very happy to spend the time to really make sure that you leverage the power of Restaurant365 and accomplish your goals. Look, at the end of the day, bottom line, we want to show you how, with the right software and right support team, how you can turn your back office into a profit center. And yes, I said turn your back office into a profit center, a center that provides timely and accurate financial data in real time, not reactive time. Data that will enable you to run more efficient and profitable restaurants. So, talking about, the why, right? Restaurant365 and Laufer came together back in about 2016. And how did this happen? Well, Laufer was always looking to have a state-of-the-art solution for our clients. And we looked at things such as the Sage platforms, Intact, things that were kind of agnostic or not specific towards a specific industry. Some people we saw were using things like QuickBooks, and we knew there had to be a better way. And we kept trying and demoing and testing. And for decades, we used a product called Restaurant Technologies, or RTI. And we ran really well with them, but it wasn't developing for the future. So we then endeavored to do something on our own. We engaged with a software development company, and after spending almost a year and a half, 2 years, and learning very, very quickly that not only the time, but the resources in terms of dollars to have something that truly would be state-of-the-art and then to maintain it was virtually impossible at the scale that Laufer would be able to do on their own. So we looked for a partner. We did a lot of research. Brian Dempsey, led that charge for us at Laufer, and we connected with a few companies and we interviewed them. Restaurant365, when we contacted them, and mind you, they're out in California, they were in our office the next day. They were that intrigued to learn that there might be an opportunity in the McDonald's space. At that time, with 14,000 restaurants in the McDonald's space approximately, there wasn't one McDonald's restaurant that they were aware of that was running Restaurant365. So after having that meeting and building what we thought would be the right platform for our clients, we went on a journey that lasts to this day, 9 years later, in fact. And that journey started with, how do we service McDonald's clients? How do we adapt Restaurant 365? How do we create certain integrations? And that's all going to get spoken about today. But what I'm proud to tell you is that 9 years later, this is a solution that is not going to stay as you see it today. And some of you could be saying, why? Well, the answer simply is that nothing stands still. With AI being introduced and more ways to automate, between what Laufer is looking to do and having the support of Restaurant 365, we are confident that you will have the right software solution to take you into not tomorrow, but into the next decade running your restaurant operations, because they are restaurant specific. So now I'm going to turn this over to Kevin McTeague.
Thanks, Andrew. As Andrew mentioned, we've been working together for a long time. Our office and our founders were based in California, and certainly when Andy and the team reached out to kind of, investigate R365 compared to their other non-restaurant specific alternatives, we jumped at the opportunity to engage in the conversation and potentially, expand our footprint into the McDonald's brand, which, as Andy mentioned before we met, that really wasn't an area where we had found a lot of clients and a lot of customers. But that was 8 or 9 years ago, and a lot has changed since then. Through our collaboration and our partnership with the Laufer Group, we've been able to, really deliver a restaurant-specific accounting solution and create a really strong value proposition with our platform and Laufer services. So we work really closely together. We leverage Andy and his team's extensive experience within the McDonald's brand to understand the challenges that owner-operators face on a daily basis. And we tailor our offerings to ensure that we're setting those clients up for success. In fact, some of our core product functionality that we have today is the direct result of that collaboration. As we'll talk about it later in the presentation, we have a tool called our custom financial reporting tool, which was designed specifically for groups like the Laufer Group and McDonald's clients to help customize their financial statements to meet the unique needs of owner-operators looking to reconcile the financials that they use to manage their business with the financials that were required to be reported to McDonald's corporate. And at the end of the day, we are an innovative platform. We take our extensive resources in R&D and in product development to ensure that we are continuously innovating. As Andy mentioned, the only certainty is change, and we will continue to change our platform for the better and for our clients. But we are the software, right? We are the platform that you do the accounting on. We are not the actual accountants, and it's such a valuable collaborative approach to have both Laufer and R365 involved, because Laufer is going to be the accounting team that is ensuring that the actions and transactions are recorded appropriately and the financial reports are shared in a way that allows you to analyze your business. And we're kind of the behind the scenes operations, right? We are the actual software platform, data flow connections and integrations that we'll cover here in a little bit. And when you really have the combination of a restaurant-specific and McDonald's-specific accounting team like Laufer and a restaurant-specific software platform like R365, it's truly a match made in heaven. And we've got some great quotes here from some of our McDonald's owner-operators who have realized a tremendous amount of success through our collaborative and combined approach.
Thanks for all that, Kevin. So as Andy gave us the why and Kevin gave us the why, now let's talk about the wow, the ways of working, how our clients and how Laufer works with our clients through Restaurant 365. So as was spoken before, we chose to partner with R365 as they had the tools we wanted for our clients, which were real-time P&Ls, being able to drill into a P&L in real time, no phone call required. Search invoices in real time, schedule recurring financial reports automatically to land in your inbox, customize your dashboard to view and quickly access invoices. And also the most important part in our back office is the electronic approvals at a click of a button. Now let's dive in and let's see how partnering in R365 has allowed us to elevate our service to our clients. And also, as I overview how we work with our clients in our accounting software, I will also be bringing up some tips along the way. So now let's start with the P&L. When clients reviewed their P&L, they'd often reach out asking, what's in this line item? That would trigger a time-consuming process on our end, printing out GL summaries, digging through entries, and sometimes even reading them line by line over the phone. It wasn't efficient, and it certainly wasn't scalable. And we knew the answer was to find the system that gives clients direct access to both real-time and historical P&L data. Now, with just a click, you can drill into any line item and instantly see the full breakdown, every transaction, every detail. And for those who want to go even deeper, we've linked each entry to its original invoice. That means you can not only see the numbers, but you could also verify them with the source document. It's about turning a reactive process into a proactive experience, giving our clients clarity, autonomy, and trust in their financial data so that no matter if it's in real time or looking at prior periods, our clients can make the right decisions for their organizations in real time. Now, clients tend to ask, is that the only way I can view my invoices by clicking through a P&L? And the answer is absolutely not. All the invoices that we just drilled into from the P&L screen are stored individually in the accounts payable module of Restaurant365. And you'll notice next to each invoice is the word yes in blue. It may be slightly small on your screen now, but once you're behind your computer, in Restaurant365, trust me, it will be a lot larger. And like anything on the internet, if it's blue, that means you can click it. So by simply clicking the blue yes button next to an invoice for Laufer gas, I can pull up my invoice immediately on the screen without having to go through a P&L, without having to run a GL report, or without reaching out to whoever handles my back office and asking them, hey, can you send me that invoice to that bill? So now one of the other features, that I also like on this screen is the ability to export everything that I see into Excel. Restaurant365 has some great reports that will help you track historical vendor invoices in terms of amounts, spending, etc. But in the top right corner, there's this X on a sheet. That means export to Excel. And if you're good with pivot tables, you can make some great, powerful, customizable worksheets that may offer you more than just a default report. So now, while the searching flexibility is great, everyone has that vendor or two that they need to check often. They need to make sure they're adhering, whether it be to the procurement process, or you just want to make sure that they're not overbilling you. So that's where I love having saved views. Now, for this example, say if I wanted to track the Laufer Refuse Company for the store All Things Laufer, I can create a saved view that with a click of a button, it's going to allow me to search for my All Things Laufer Refuse Only, and right on the screen instantly shows all of my refuse bills for All Things Laufer. Now, again, we see blue hyperlink, so I can just click the hyperlink, and what's going to happen? We're going to see the invoice again with just a click of a button. But now if I want to go to the next invoice, another click of a button, and again, right at the tip of my finger is every invoice that my back office has inputted for our clients. So I've showed you the invoices in the system, but you might be wondering, well, how did they know to enter them? Or how does Laufer know those invoices are in fact good to pay? So that's why for our clients, we like to implement a workflow. And the workflow, it's key in the approval process. And we've worked diligently to create within R365's workflow a paperless approval process in our firm with our clients. Now, what happens is bills will come into our office. We will enter them into the system. Upon entering, as soon as we hit save, we will trigger that workflow. The client can either log in to the R365 app, or they can log into their client-specific URL through R365 on their computer and view each individual invoice. And either with the press of the green button for approve or the red button for deny, they can advance those invoices to the next level, which may either be to our team that we're good to cut the check, or to the next person on the approval list in order for us to cut that check. Now, if they deny it, all it's going to do is it's going to send it back to the last person that approved it, or it's going to send it back to the person that entered it. And then we will make those adjustments and then correct accordingly. Now, one neat feature that I love about the workflow is that it's not only just a vertical workflow, meaning that I approve it, then somebody else approves it, but it's also horizontal. And by that, I mean, if we take a facilities vendor that you don't care who approves it, as long as it's one of your 5 facilities team members, what we can do is put all 5 of them on a single level of approval. And as soon as one of them approves it, it will timestamp it with the day and their name of who approved it. So I've now reviewed how we work with our clients in R365. Kevin, why don't you talk about the neat features? We were able to integrate with McDonald's and how R365 continuously pushes how they integrate for all the McDonald's clients.
Yeah, I'm happy to. I mean, as Brian mentioned, right, there's so much value that the Laufer Group brings to the table in terms of the, transactional review that they're doing, the financial statement preparation that they're maintaining, and the sharing that with owner operators so that you have the ability to do that drill down detail and really understand the why and the wow behind your numbers. And really what we continue to try to do is to ensure that we're making the lives of the Laufer accountants easier by automating the flow of information from external different systems into R365 accounting, and really limiting the need for any kind of manual data entry or kind of taking one number from one place to the other. And we have a lot of existing integrations today that are really unique and specific, not only to restaurants, but to McDonald's owner operator customers. So that starts really with our QSR Soft and DataPass connection. So we have a partnership with DataPass to leverage the information coming over from QSR Soft and to automatically pass through sales and labor information into R365 accounting. And I think Brian's going to get into in a little bit really what that looks like in terms of the information and data that they're able to provide. We're also leveraging that connection and the connection with other vendors to automatically bring invoices into the system. So we're bringing in Martin Brower invoices and Coca-Cola invoices in an automated fashion and segregating out the cost of those invoices to the areas of your business that you really care about, and not just lumping it all together, but breaking it down by food and beverage and supplies. And we're doing that not only for the larger vendors, but doing it for all of your smaller vendors as well. So where you have local vendors like landscapers and handymen or other kind of major vendors, we're always able to find a way to automate the flow of those invoices into the system. And we're continuously looking for ways to improve that with both our invoice capture services. As Andy mentioned, we're constantly trying to innovate the product, including with the development and advancement of AI, so that we can take invoice images that you submit by simply taking a picture and lift the invoice details off of those invoices to automatically create the digital transaction in our accounting system. And we're always looking to expand our list of vendors with whom we directly integrate. So partnering with the firms that you use the most to ensure that they are sending us invoices in the most automated fashion as possible, and working directly with them and collaborating on that data flow. Finally, we're directly integrated with your banks and financial and credit card institutions to bring over transactions on a daily basis so that the Laufer Group can be constantly reviewing and maintaining your bank activity and reconciling that activity so that you're keenly aware of the impact of any bills that are on auto pay or credit card or third-party delivery settlements that are coming in net of fees or credit card transactions on corporate purchasing cards, really making sure that you understand every bank activity transaction that's happening and that you're reviewing that for any stale dated checks or outstanding deposits that you might want to kind of track down. Now, that's really how the data is getting into the system. As you'll see on the right-hand side of the screen, what we're doing is sharing that information with as many relevant stakeholders as possible. So obviously, we're sharing it with the Laufer team so that they can review the financials and make adjustments as necessary. But we're also sharing it with your internal accounting and office teams and office managers and with the owner-operators themselves, as well as your in-store operators. So with our unique user securities and permissions, we have the ability to lock down actions and visibility to our platform to allow people to see what they need to see and do what they need to do and nothing else. We have hundreds of thousands of clients that are leveraging our tool to actually deliver financials to their in-store operators, but with limited visibility, right? Taking everything down to PAC and not below it, and allowing them to understand how their actions within the restaurant drive store profitability. So we're really giving you that option to get as much data into the system as possible in an automated fashion to deliver it to the relevant stakeholders in a way that's easy for them to comprehend and understand. And then we're also helping you share that information with relevant third parties like third-party CPAs for tax preparations, allowing auditors in for remote access, and preparing financials for distribution to the global franchisee financial system in a way that's super seamless and automated. And I think Brian's going to kind of get into what we're able to generate with those digital integrations in terms of actionable insights within the restaurants.
Thanks, Kevin. And again, like Andy said, so from 9 years ago to today, it's amazing, what has been accomplished so far in terms of, just certain streamlines and integrations. But, I wanted to talk about, the labor accruals quickly. So by eliminating the manual labor entries, R365 daily labor punches integrates the daily labor punches, crew hours, manager shifts, and payroll taxes to provide a complete and accurate labor overview. The system will automatically sync labor data with DataPass, ensuring your profit and loss statements are always current. Additionally, depending on your payroll provider, R365 can update labor costs after payroll processing has been committed, giving you true financial visibility into your labor. As in QSR, currently your labor punches would be missing items like PTO and miscellaneous pay. But with R365 and with the integrations to your payroll company, they can true up that gap on either a weekly or bi-weekly basis. And, I just always have to remind everyone, though, with automation, while automation significantly improves efficiency, it's important that I emphasize that proper setup and validation are crucial for accurate results. And as as it's been highlighted, everything in Restaurant365 is customizable, and that's why it was the right tool for Laufer. And also including how you even view your reports. We have many clients that will view reports, whether it be by stores, by regions, states, districts, patches, etc. Regardless of the format, R365 can break down your reporting form in a granular level up to a consolidated organizational view. Now, I often get asked, is the standard reports all we can see? And as Kevin alluded to before, it's not. One of the most powerful things that we've done with customizable reporting is tailoring views for each manager or supervisor. And as Kevin said before, giving P&Ls only up to PAC. And by doing that, we restrict the access also to maybe it's just a few GL accounts that matter to their role and hide the rest. I'll give you a quick example, what we've done with a few in-store managers. before they can even see PACE and get a PACE bonus. We've started the P&L that they can only see sales through food. And once they met their food metric, we then unhid the labor line. And if they were able to match and hold their food and their labor line, we then started unhiding more levels of the P&L to get down to PAC. And then if we saw that food or labor slipped, the rest of the P&L went away. And we went back to the starting point. And they knew that they were not on track to get that PAC bonus because the P&L wasn't getting bigger. It was getting shorter. So again, as it's been custom reporting, it's there. It's just how are you going to use it for your organization? And also, by doing that, it helps your managers, your general managers, your supervisors stay focused on just the operational controls that you care about without them getting lost in the financial noise of the P&L. So at Laufer, we try to take that traditional 4-column P&L that you're looking at on your screen, and we try to enhance it even further with more information by integrating advanced metrics like cash flow and other supplemental calculations for a deeper financial insight. So for example, here's the custom cash flow statement that we have formatted for many of our clients. This statement takes the net income from your P&L and accounts for all the non-income statement cash items as well. In addition to that, to keep our clients informed on a monthly basis of the estimated income tax consequences for either monthly and year to date, we included at the bottom an estimated tax calculation. Now, of course, that tax calculation, it's not 100% accurate, and we still very much recommend that you do a tax projection, whether it be quarterly, semi-annually, annually. But just by seeing that on a month-to-month and a year-to-date basis, it keeps it in the back of your mind of, we're making a lot of money this year, but even though we're making money, it still will always come with some sort of tax consequences. And again, the ability to do that is because everything within the system is customizable. Now, another powerful tool in the system is budgeting. And it is crucial to compare your budgeted benchmarks on a monthly basis. And R365, it lets you do just that. Budgets, they're very easy to create in the system. And whether you're importing them fresh or you're going to be tweaking the prior year numbers and adding a couple increases, R365 allows you to create various views to compare your budget versus your actual. And going back to the custom formatting, we can take that budget versus actual. We can make it budget versus actual for the current month, prior year, year to date. We can put everything on one Excel page so every restaurant is side by side. However you think it, chances are we'll be able to make it. And of course, having these budgets built into your P&L, it enables you to train your DMs and your supervisors as they continue to grow in your organization and they start learning the financial aspects of the organization. So, as I conclude my portion of this presentation, I wanted to just share a few planning tips, to help you maximize your use of R365. So without, as I said before, automation, it drives efficiency, but it's only when it's built on a solid foundation. Proper setup and validation are critical before activating any R365 automated process to ensure accuracy, reliability, and long-term success. And one of the things that I would say is the core setup that if needs to be done right out of the gate is the vendor setup. With the IRS only giving roughly 30 days to get 1099s transitioned over, R365 has a phenomenal report that allows you to export the entire year's data by vendor with their EINs, but that information will only be there if it's set up properly. And then also, as we saw, all of the customizing of reports. A seamless GL configuration is what is key to unlocking that flexible report creation. So as I, have concluded my portion of the webinar, Andy, I'll turn it over to you to wrap things up.
And so following Brian and Kevin is a little difficult, but these guys truly are, the product experts. Kevin and the Restaurant365 team, you guys have walked the talk from day one. You continue to deliver, for the Laufer clients, you continue to deliver in the McDonald's space for those that have their own internal back offices. And all we can do is thank you, for continuing to recognize, the power of 14,000 restaurants and continuing to enhance and improve the solution so that providers such as us at Laufer, and again, those that use this internally and might use a company like us for consultative purposes, again, your partnership with us cannot be, understated. So our sincerest thank yous, for that. For all that are listening and or might listen to this, on a taped version, this was meant to be the first of many collaborative webcasts that we're going to do with the Restaurant365 team. We wanted you to understand the why, the wow, what's coming, down the road. Our next webcast will probably be shorter in duration, but more focused on maybe a specific topic. Maybe we'll do something just on budgeting. Maybe we'll do something simply, on workflow. We will continue to have best practices that we can share. Serving over 1,000 restaurants, on this platform. We know this platform inside and out. And again, a credit to Brian and the rest of the team at Laufer for spending the time to really learn the solution. So, well, I'll leave everybody with this is one, if anyone has any questions, if you want to submit them in the chat, we will take questions from you. And also just to implore you to understand, you're the user. We think we know what you want. We as a user know what we want, but the only way that Restaurant365 can continue to enhance is to not allow them, to assume what we as the users want, because they know a lot of what we want, but they don't know everything. So you need to share. Let's create wish lists. Let's give them ideas of how to enhance and how to improve the platform so that we're always talking about the wow of Restaurant365 as we go, downstream into the future. So I know that we had 3 questions that have popped up. I'm going to turn it over to Brian, and any other questions, please bring them on as we still do have a little time.
So Kevin, I might ask you to jump in because so one of the questions are, which payroll companies are you integrated with? So I know personally within the McDonald's space, 2 payroll companies that come to mind are Savant and also PayRight. Kevin, can you give some insight on maybe one or a few other payroll companies that you guys are integrated with?
Yeah, happy to. I mean, as we spoke about when we were talking about our integrations, we're always interested in enhancing our integrations that we're able to offer. And as long as your payroll company is willing to work with us, we are certainly willing to work with them. Now, I will say that we have formed a formal partnership with Alliance HCM, which is a longstanding hospitality-focused payroll company that has a lot of locations in the enterprise QSR space, and we are directly integrated with them. We also work closely with the other payroll companies that we see within the McDonald's space, especially Proliant and ADP and others. So we can really work closely to ensure that data flows well between our accounting system and your payroll system, regardless of who they are. And we're always looking for new friends in that space.
Thanks, Kevin. And so another question came in, is there a webinar training focused on reporting and P&Ls? So yes, there is. So Restaurant365, the one thing that I've always appreciated they've done is whenever there was a support ticket, they created a library of how they answered it. And there's a lot of training. There's an academy within Restaurant365, and there's also partners, right? There's us. that, you could also reach out to for help, when it comes to training and learning how to use the custom reporting financial information. I'll go to the next one. Is cash flow a standard template that can be shared out with other R365 subscribers? So the cash flow that we create, and that was just one of the few examples that we use for our clients, as really every client tends to be different, and that's why we appreciate the ability to customize that report. So that cash flow isn't a standard template. Restaurant365 does have a standard cash flow statement within their reports, but to get something more of a McDonaldized cash flow statement, that's something that we would just have to create within your URL. So I hope I answered that. I'm just going to go down the list. If we are not using Laufer as a CPA, does our CPA have to buy a subscription, or can we grant them access to do what they need to do? They don't need to buy a subscription. You can have the subscription and they can operate, and you just give them a user and login. And you can choose what they can or can't do as well. So with R365, we would have to transfer all back office activities. What about creating P&Ls for McDonald's at month end? I'm sorry, I'm just going to read that one again real quick. No, you absolutely wouldn't have to transfer all back office activities. So what, in our firm it's more of like, we call it the a la carte special, is we can do like at our firm, we do many things like the other NFCA firms do as well. We do full back office. We do P&Ls only to McDonald's. We review P&Ls and then transmit to McDonald's. And then we also do, tax work as well. So with Restaurant365, really all it is that you just have to choose what you want to do and integrate. I have another client, for example, that they use QuickBooks. And within QuickBooks, we're able to export data and upload it into Restaurant365 as if they were doing their back office in Restaurant365. So again, the ability with the customization allows us to really offer any type of service to any one of our clients. What P&L only prints through PAC, or was that customized? So that's customized. So that's customized in the custom financial report writer. And what you do is simply just either stop it at PAC. You could put a breakpoint so that your first page would be through PAC. Your second page would be everything thereafter through net income. What's the cost of Restaurant365? So as much as I know the product inside and out, that is not my realm. I apologize, but you can absolutely reach out and we'll put together a proposal for you. Do you submit the final approved P&Ls to McDonald's? Yes, absolutely. So at our firm, Laufer, we transmit to McDonald's, we monitor GFFS, and we also, can take it there from taxes, projection work, consulting, you name it. Anything you need can be done. Who can help us with our bank account transactions to be auto pulled into R365 and not have to be manually uploaded? So with that it depends on the bank, to be honest. And what I say is it's not an R365 issue. It's more or less, it's the bank issue. Whereas many banks offer the ability, and Kevin, if I'm missing something, actually, Kevin, why don't you take this question? So I'm going to ask this. Who can help us get our bank account transactions to be auto pulled into R365 and not have to be manually uploaded?
Yeah, this is something that we run into in a lot of different areas where, there might be a challenge that you're encountering. And certainly we have an amazing support staff that responds very quickly and works very diligently to resolve any issues. But if we don't know about it, we can't fix it. And so the first path is always to reach out to our customer success team, reach out to your dedicated customer success manager, or reach out to your third-party accounting firm if you purchase R365 through them, like with the Laufer Group. But submitting a support ticket is also a great way to start, to sort of say, hey, I'm having trouble doing this. It's not working the way that I would expect it. And we can certainly resolve that in kind. Now, as Brian was mentioning, this particular challenge is one that is a little bit bank dependent, and even within the bank, sometimes bank relationship dependent. So we have certain banks that we connect to, over 10,000 banks that we directly connect to live to pull transactions in automatically. That is run through a third-party utility though, and it may just kind of depend on that utility's functionality if you have any issues pulling them over automatically. You do have the ability to manually upload. You also have the ability with your bank to have them directly transmit what's called a BAI file to our FTP folder. And that is the most automated and most reliable way to get bank activity into the system. And if you need help figuring out how to get that set up on your bank's end from a treasury management standpoint and on the R365 end from an FTP reception standpoint, we're certainly happy to help in that regard as long as we can start with that support ticket.
Thanks, Kevin. So I'm seeing a handful of questions, regarding cost. And that's something, if you want to reach out to, Andrew Laufer, he can help with the proposal on that one. Again, I don't necessarily handle any of the pricing. I like the product and I love the product, but that's not me. I'm just going to keep going down. What about McDonald's ratios? Are any work on getting a report for those? So with McDonald's ratios, so it just comes down to the custom report financials and how we set them up and build them out. So if you reach out to me separately, we can go over on how to start generating some of that. I may have missed, Kevin, this one's going to be an question for you. I may have missed the answer, but do you integrate with ProLiant?
Yeah, so with ProLiant, we don't have a direct integration in the sense of a one-click, but we have a very clean and easy to follow SOP for an export import. So essentially a 2-click. So we're able to take the labor punches that we receive from the QSR Soft Data Pass integration, export those into ProLiant so that you can process your payroll. And once the payroll is processed and complete, ProLiant's able to generate a general ledger or journal entry distribution file that we can import into our system as a payroll journal entry. So we hesitate to say the integration word unless it is a clear one-click pass-through, but we definitely have a very straightforward export-import process with ProLiant.
Thanks. And then, just for the last one, I'd love to see a follow-up presentation on how you could help me make our credit card reconciliation easier. Absolutely. So this was only the first webinar. Unfortunately, we have an array of people on the webinar, some that are very advanced, some that are just getting their feet wet, understanding what Restaurant365 is. So I can promise you that there will be more coming, but also feel free to reach out. You can reach out to myself and I'd be happy to walk you through, how you could do just that.
All right, so look, we actually stayed slightly under our time. Again, Kevin, thank you, and in your team, Brian, as always, your depth of knowledge, not just in accounting, but Restaurant365 and how the solution works is always impressive. Even sitting here, I'm impressed. I want to hire you. If any of you are going to the NFLA meeting, stop by, look for the Restaurant365 team. We haven't gotten our booth assignments yet, so I can't tell you that. But the Restaurant365 team will be there. From the Laufer team, you're going to see myself and Brian Dempsey there. So if you want to shoot us an email, ask us, can we meet? We'll schedule some individual time with you. And as Brian said, if you ever have a question, whether you're a Laufer client or not, we're always trying to work for the betterment, of the system. Many of you probably learned of us, through the PPP process and all the work that we did to help the system on that front. So we're going to close this out, Kevin, unless there's anything else that you have to add from the Restaurant365 team. We thank you all for carving time out of your busy day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all. Bye now.